6th to spare Manila, MacArthur proclaims it an open city. Manila is nonetheless uneasy, and with good cause, for the Japanese ignore the proclamation.
Taong 1941 to 1945, ang panahon kung kailan tayo nasakop ng panibagong bansa. At ito nga ay ang mga Hapon. Malaki naging impluwensya ng mga Hapon sa ating literatura at kultura. Sa panahon iyon, malaki ang pinagbago talaga ng Pilipinas. Aalamin natin kung ano nga ba yung mga naiambag nila sa ating literatura. Halina, samahan niyo ako at ang aking mga grupo at tuklasin kung ano nga ba ang naiambag nila sa ating bansa. Teka, mali ata ako napuntahan.
Papakain ng aming mga pamilya.
Negosyo o kalayaan, bayan o sarili, pumili ka!
Hindi po yan. Kalayaan po, pinipili ko kalayaan. Siguro naman ay nasa tamang lugar na. Dito, hahanapin ko ang aking mga kagrupo upang maiulat sa atin ang mga impormasyong kailangan natin. Una, hanapin natin si Ginoong Prince Carl Vargas upang iulat sa atin kung ano nga ba ang history sa panahong ito. Tara, samahan niyo ako.
This had an advantageous effect on Filipino literature, which experienced renewed attention because writers in English turned to writing in Filipino. This period became hard for the English writer because Japanese stopped the Philippine literature in English. The reason behind this is that they really hate the Americans, that's why they want the English writer turn to writing in Filipino, and they rewarded handsomely the Filipinos who are faithful to them. Juan Laya, who used to write in English, turned to writing in Filipino because of the strict prohibitions of the Japanese regarding any writing in English. Juan Laya was a Filipino novelist and publisher. He won the first Commonwealth Literary Contest for his English novel His Native Soil, and he wrote this novel when he was still a student in Indiana University. He also wrote many stories and novels, but sadly he died on August 3, 1952. The weekly Liwayway was placed under strict surveillance until it was managed by a Japanese named Ishiwara. In other words, Filipino literature was given a break during this period. Many wrote plays, poems, short stories, etc. Topics and themes were often about life in the provinces.
Filipino poetry during this period. The common theme of the most poem during the Japanese occupation was nationalism, country, love and life, in the various faith, religion, and arts. Three types of poem emerged during this period. Haiku, a poem of free verse that the Japanese liked. It was made up of 17 syllables divided into 3 lines. The first line had 5 syllables, the second is 7 syllables, and the third is 5 syllables. The haiku is allegorical in meaning, is short and covers a wide scope in meaning. Example of haiku by Gonzalo K. Flores, Ang Tutubi and Anyaya.
Tutubi, hila mo'y tabak ang bulaklak, nanginig sa paglapit mo. Anyaya. Huli lang damo sa tahimik na ilog, halika sinta.
Tanaga, like the haiku, is a short but it had measure and rhyme. Each line had 17 syllables and it also allegorical in meaning. Example of Tanaga ni Edelfonso Santos, Palay and Kabibi.
Palay. Siyang matino nang humingay yumuko, ngunit muling tumayo, nakabunga ng ginto.
Kabibe. Kabibe, ano ka ba? May perlas maganda ka. Kung idiik sa nga, nagbubunitong hininga.
Karaniwang anyo or usnal form, like the mentioned earlier in the beginning chapter of this book.
The Filipino drama during the Japanese period, which began in 1941 and ended in 1945, has experienced a lull or break because of the reason that movie houses in which shows American films were closed at this time. Meanwhile, the big movie houses were just intended to show some stage shows. As a matter of fact, many of the plays were reproductions of English plays to Tagalog. To name some of the translators, they were Francisco San Rodrigo, Alberto Cuncio, and Narciso Pimentel, in which they also founded the Organization of Filipino Players, named Dramatic Philippines. Some of the playwrights in this time were Jose Maria Hernandez, Francisco Soc Rodrigo, Clodoaldo Del Mundo, and Julian Cruz Balsameda. Allow me to introduce to all of you to these four playwrights of this period, starting with who is Jose Maria Hernandez. So he was born on June 19, 1904 and known to be great dramatist, author, and educator. He was distinguished to be a man of letters because of his earned degree and achievements, whether here in national or abroad. Also, he is known for the Panday Pira, masterpiece in which has received acknowledgement for being the first Filipino metallurgist who was said to have lived between 1483 and 1576, in which this story talks about Panday Pira, who had devised the canons using a mold of clay and wax, which Muslim leader Raja Sulaiman used to protect Manila against the invading Spanish troops. This legendary metalsmith was later recruited to equip the walled city of Intramuros. He set up a foundry for cannons and the other artillery for the defense of Manila. Founded at the same time as Pampanga. He also invented the lantaka, a small cannon that could be rotated or maneuvered at any desired angle in direction during battle. He was also asked by the Adelantado Miguel Lopez de Legazpi to manufacture lantakas for galleons and warships as the Spaniards prepared to conquer more lands in the archipelago and throughout Southeast Asia. Prior to this, Panday Pira surprised Raja Sulaiman when he made cannons using a mold of clay and wax. Next is Francisco Soc Rodrigo, who was former senator of the Philippines and also a playwright, lawyer, and broadcaster, born in January 29, 1914. He wrote the Pula sa Puti play about the protagonist who is addicted to cockfighting. Engaging in cockfight is a common pastime in the country. However, the protagonist in this text is severely addicted to it. Kulas is the main character of the play, along with Celine, who is his wife. One fine day, when Kulas talks to Celine, she does not respond very well to him. Celine is frustrated that Kulas only thinks about cockfight day in day out and not about her. It could be interpreted that Celine is feeling jealous of the inattention she received from her husband. Based on his dream, Kulas, on the other hand, bets on some of the cocks. In the end, the dream does not end up being the same as reality. Kulas realizes he's fully by the end of the play. His gambling merely does not study for the activity, but for the fact that he has been ignoring his wife while being engaged there. Hence, in the end, we can see that this play has a social commentary. The third writer of this period was Clodoaldo del Mundo. The YY editor, critic, and scholar was born in Manila in 1911, who wrote a great number of novels for television, radio, and the local cinema, in which received the famous award for one of his stories. In poetry, he was among the first one to write in free verse. Moreover, who wrote Bulaga, an expression in the game hide in. The last one, we have Julian Cruz Balmaceda, who was a known Filipino poet, essayist, playwright, novelist, journalist, and linguist. He also made several works that were written in Filipino, English, and Spanish language. He was born on January 28, 1885 at Orion. He wrote the drama Sino Ba Kayo, in which is originally written in Bicol as Sangwaltang Abaca in 1943, but translated into Tagalog by Francisco Rodrigo. The story of this is light, dramatic, and spirited humor work made around sets of mistaken identities. It recounts on the conflict within a family and their maid and houseboy maid because of mistaken identity until identities are revealed and the confusions are clarified at the end. Thus, we can see that even in the midst of the Japanese period, the Filipino drama continues to exist for the Filipinos to know the different issues and resolve them.
The Filipino short story during Japanese period. The field of the short story widened during the Japanese occupation. Many wrote short stories. Among them were Brigito Batumbakal, Macario Pineda, Serafin Gigindo, Liwayway Arceo, Narciso Ramos, Nestor Vicente Madali Gonzalez, Alicia Lopez Lim, Ligaya Perez, and Gloria Guzman. The best writing in 1945 were selected by the group of judges composed of Francisco Icasiano, Jose Esperanza Cruz, Antonio Rosales, and Teodoro Santos. As a result of this selection, the following got the first three prizes. First prize, Narcesa Reyes with his Lupang Tinubuan. Second prize, Liwayway Arceo with Uhaw Antigang sa Lupa. Third prize, Nestor Vicente Madali Gonzalez with his works Lungsod Nayon at Dagat-Dagatan. Lungsod Nayon at Dagat-Dagatan ni Nestor Vicente Madali Gonzalez. Makikita na nakasentro ang paksa ng kwento sa buhay at probinsya at kung gaano ito kapayak kumpara sa lungsod. Makikita ang pagkakaiba ng pamumuhay ng mga tao sa dalawang pook. Uhaw ang tigang na lupa. Ang kwentong ito ay tungkol sa dalagitang nagkaroon ng mga magulang na kailanman na hindi kakitaan ng paglalambing sa isa't isa. Para bang walang namamagitang pag-ibig ang pagsasama. Hanggang isang araw natuklasan nito na may mahal palang iba ang ama at matagal na nitong nililihim sa pamilya. Ito ay nang mabasa ng dalagita ang tala-arawan ng ama at makita ang isang larawan ng isang babae. lupang tinubuan ni Narciso Reyes. Pumunta si Nanding sa probinsya ng kanyang ama at kinilala niya ang kanyang mga kamag-anak at ang lugar.
Philippine literature in English from 1941 to 1945. Because of the strict prohibitions imposed by the Japanese in the writing and publishing of works in English, Philippine literature in English experienced a dark period. The few who dared to write did so for their bread and butter or for propaganda. Writings that came out during this period were journalistic in nature. Writers felt suppressed but slowly, the spirit of nationalism started to seep into their consciousness. While some continued to write, the majority waited for a better climate to publish their works. Noteworthy writer of the period was Carlos P. Romulo, who won the Pulitzer Prize for his bestsellers I Saw the Fall of the Philippines, I Saw the Philippines Rise, and His Mother America and My Brother Americans. Journalists include Salvador P. Lopez, Leon Ma Guerrero, Raul Manglapus, and Carlos Bolosan. Nick Pokin produced The Woman Who Looked Like Lazarus. Fred Ruiz Castro, who wrote a few poems. F.B. Icasino wrote essays in the Philippines Review. Carlos Bolosan's works included The Laughter of My Father on 1944, The Voice of Bataan on 1943, Six Filipino Poets on 1942, among others. Alfredo Litiatco published with Harp and Sling, and in 1943, Jose P. Laurel published Forces That Make a Nation Great. The Commonwealth Literary Awards gave prizes to meritorious writers. Those who won were the following: first, like The Mulave by Rafael Zulueta da Costa, it is a poetry. Second, How My Brother Leon Brought Home a Wife by Manuel E. Ardguila, it is a short story. Third, Literature and Society by Salvador P. Lopez, it is an essay. And last, His Native Soil by Juan Laya, it is a novel. President Manuel L. Quezon's autobiography, The Good Fight, was published posthumously. Radio broadcast echoed the mingled fear and doubts in the hearts of the people. Other writers of this period were Juan Colas, 19,440, Thomas Confessor on 1945, Roman A. de la Cruz, and Elisa Tabuñar.
Magsisiwalat ako ng ilang mga facts about sa panahong ito. Ilalahad ko sa inyo yung mga importante impormasyon na natalakay sa aming report.
Under Japan. Aside from the important happenings in the past, we can't help but to think, how about the literature that time? That is why I am here to give you facts about the Philippine literature during the Japanese occupation period. Fact number 1. During the Japanese occupation, when Tagalog was favored by the Japanese, writing in English was considered a limbo. Almost all English newspapers were stopped by the Japanese. This led into the birth of the greatest Filipino creations and the Filipino literature boom during that time. Fact number 2. During this time, there was no freedom of speech and of the press. Victoria Abelardo described the Filipino writing as pessimistic and bitter. Fact number 3. The only Filipino writers who could write freely were those who were living in the United States. Most writers and authors were led to either go underground or write in Tagalog. Fact number 4. Since Filipino literature was given a break during that time, poetry, Filipino drama, and Pinoy short stories have risen. Most of it were addressing nationalism, country, love, and simple life. Fact number 5. Filipinos were forced to learn Japanese, so the Tagalog language began to incorporate Japanese slang and idioms in its vocabulary and literature.